In this video, we're building the framing for my camper van cabinets, and we're doing it out of steel. Alright, got my steel. So you might be thinking that this is a lot of unnecessary weight. Making it out of steel would be really heavy. All this steel weighs about almost exactly 130 pounds. So that's like having a small adult passenger like in the back of the van. So, and I think you'd be surprised how fast plywood and like 2x2s and 2x4s and everything adds up. So I'm able to use a lot less material to get a lot of strength. And I think overall, if anything, the weight would be comparable, but I think I have a suspicion that it'll actually be a little bit lighter framing everything out of steel. This is my not super accurate blueprint, but it illustrates the ideas that I wanted. The driver's side will have one full-size cabinet, and the rest will be a countertop with storage underneath. The passenger side is going to be somewhat like a storage chest. The countertop's going to hinge up to give access to storage. I'm going to have a shelf stretch across the width of the van in the back, and then underneath there will be garage storage for fluids, tools, and other supplies. The one thing I want to do is to just kind of double check that the cuts they made were accurate. I trust them and I've never had a problem getting steel from them before, but I had a couple of these cut to the exact lengths I would need in the van, just to make it a little bit more convenient for me. So just want to make sure that it's close enough or accurate that I'll be able to use it for what I want. So I'm going to be having the height of the countertops, or at least the height of the top of the framing, be about 25 inches, and then whatever the countertop material is, maybe an inch thick or a half inch thick, will be on top of that. But basically 25 inches, and yes, that is pretty low, but the back windows in particular are pretty low, and I didn't want the countertops coming above the bottom line of the windows, so that's kind of why I decided to stick with 25 inches. So I'm marking at 24 inches for the spot to drill the holes for the rib nuts, because this is 2 inches wide, and so 1 inch is half is dead center. So the top surface is going to be at 25, come down 1 inch, and I'll be dead center of the middle of the angle iron, and that's where I can run a bolt through. The tool I'm going to be using to install the metal to the body of the van is called a rib nut tool, or a nutsert tool. Basically, it's a way to install a threaded insert onto sheet metal without having to put a nut on the back side. And now you can thread in a bolt. One more for good measure. Alright, so one thing I'm doing here is I've listed out each of these individual cuts. So I have all the pieces. I have a 323 inch pieces, and then 317 inch pieces, a 148 inch piece, and a 92 inch piece. And I'm going to go ahead and label those with letters and then stick them on the steel so I don't accidentally get it mixed up. And then as I'm cutting, try and keep everything in the same pile that I cut it with. So 2 of the 123 inch pieces are going to be uncut by themselves. 1 of the 123 inch pieces is getting cut into a 25, a 25, a 25, and a 25 inch piece. And 117s and getting cut into a 51, 51, and a 15 inch piece. So I just have everything specifically sorted out onto how many cuts I'm going to get. That way, the idea is I'm going to be pretty precise with how much I'm going to have left over and everything, as long as I don't screw up. And as long as I didn't screw up the thought process, but I think it'll be pretty good. So today I get to brush up on a little bit of welding. I haven't really welded since high school, and that was all arc welding. Did a couple practice runs on Nick's MIG welder, and I don't even want to show you, but I stuck metal together. So today I'm going to work on a simpler project. I'm just going to weld some little mounting tabs to the legs of my cabinet frames where I'm going to bolt through the floor. That should be a really simple thing for me to kind of practice on, and all those welds are going to be hidden when I'm done, so if they're ugly, that's fine. So now I need to get these all prepped for welding, so I need to take all these little burrs off and grind the mill scale off of the steel so that it can be welded without being all disgusting. I'm pretty pleased with that. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to, based on just when I was going. I'm sure it's not perfect and it could be better, but I think that might be the best speed I've done so far. Alright, so this is pretty cool. So right now there's only 4 bolts holding all the metal in the van right now. So there's the sidebars, a sidebar on each side, and then this crossbar is bolted to those sidebars, not to the body of the van. So there's only 4 bolts on the body of the van right now, and I can lift myself up on just this back bar. So I think the theory of strength per, I guess, pound of material is maybe starting to show itself. So I need to prep this and then tack this leg in place, and then have to run back to the steel place, and rather than trying to cap this open end here with another piece of angle iron, which I don't think will end up looking very good, I think I'll actually just get another piece of 2-inch flat bar from the steel shop and weld the cap kind of that way, and then grind the corners all smooth and everything. Okay, so this little bit of flat bar is going to go here. Suppose I could try and round this edge off, make it sit flush in here, and then probably have to take, I don't know, just shave down that little bit. But before I can tack this piece in place, I need to full weld this leg to this. so this is, I forgot I'm gonna have to cut this a little bit, but anyway. Picture this bar not hanging over the edges. It's gonna sit just inside these two pieces on a couple tabs like I have back here, and just kind of hang here. Both tabs welded on. They're not pretty, but this little bar, boom, now you can't see them. Doesn't matter. Alright, so that's the edge of my garage space. And unless I screwed up severely, it should be 20 inches. Perfect. So the idea is, I'm going to use this piece here to mock up the edge I need to cut here, because this piece of the van is kind of curved inward. So the right angle here won't be a problem, but I want to shape this so that it fits nicely along here. It's better to mess up a cut on this than the steel, because it's easy to just get more cardboard. Well, looks like I got it pretty much exactly how I want it. So back off of the inside of this flat bar, I'm going to do another L bracket so that it can bolt to the body of the van there. And then I'm going to have probably another L bracket come off somewhere closer to here but flat, so that I can slot a shelf on top of this. And then I'm going to have this little ridge, as you can see on the inside, is going to kind of help to keep stuff from falling out. I probably won't have a whole lot up there, but anyway, just things up there. Alright, it's time to pull all the shelving out, bring it into the garage so I can full weld everything. Everything's been kind of tacked in place, but time to get it all done up officially, and then ground down and smoothed, and then it's done. So it's fully assembled now. It'll be a little bit easier to get around and do a little bit of the full welds and grinding and stuff outside of the van, and I won't have to worry about catching the van on fire. So I'm gonna get started doing all these full welds and grinding and everything else. Okay, so that's all the welds ground nice and smooth for a, I guess you could say, mostly seamless kind of transition. Had to put the respirator on. There was just so much dust flying around with the grinder, it was getting disgusting, so probably should have been doing this from the start, but better late than never. Alright, so that's all the metal framing done. I'll calculate the what the total weight is based on how much material I have left over on the garage floor over there. See how much weight this framing added, and I'll put it down below. But I'm pretty pleased with it. It's sturdy and strong, and it's removable. So as opposed to, like I said, building this out of wood or 2x2s or something, and liquid nails and all kinds of ways of mostly permanently sticking it to the body. I have a stronger and removable cabinet system, and I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out so far. So the next project I'm going to do is doing the insulation in the van. So I'm going to take this framing back out, work on insulating the walls, and then come up with a plan for the actual like face of the wall material, and then can start putting the walls and everything and the countertops and everything on my cabinets. I also have to do the electrical and do the floor. So stick around for those projects if you want to see those, and I'll see you on the next one.
If you like to follow along with the rest of our adventures, make sure to subscribe, and to make sure you don't miss out on any other videos, click the notification bell as well.